Hey, Comic Book Nation, welcome to the Comicbook.com studio at San Diego Comic-Con 2019. I am joined right now. I mean, this man is a legend on television. I don't know if you even need an introduction. I'm going to give you one. Mr. Marc Guggenheim. First, how do you have time for anything? Because you are producing so many great shows.
Thank you.
And I mean, the fact that you keep the quality on all of them, but you also maintain having your own life, how do you do it?
Well, honestly, I really, there's a good argument to be made that I don't anymore, that I'm just sort of consulting and, I work with an incredible group of people. The amount of talented writers that are in our little camp is really amazing. Like pound for pound, we have an incredibly deep bench, and everyone just works their asses off.
Yeah.
So that's really the answer to the question. It's like we just have a lot of people working really hard.
It's a well-oiled machine at this point.
It is, yeah.
So I feel like our audience knows you best for the CW shows, the DC stuff. We'll talk about that in just a minute.
Sure.
First, we've talked about Carnival Row.
Yeah, let's do it.
Which looks awesome.
Thank you.
I'm going to be honest, everybody has learned this about me recently. I'm watching Harry Potter for the first time.
Oh, okay.
I've never watched it, and I have 2 movies left. But I caught some Harry Potter vibes in your trailer.
Absolutely.
Some very fantasy, those type of elements. Just kind of give me a breakdown of what to expect, like especially the fantasy elements. They look like so much fun.
The show's a blast. I mean, I just love it as a fan, and the way I sort of describe it is, it's kind of like a fantasy remix, because it's got, all these fantasy elements. You've got fairies, and you've got pucks, and these mythological creatures that we really associate with fairy tales. But then it's in a world that's very Victorian, kind of like steampunk adjacent, which is a time period that isn't really dealt with in fantasy, which I kind of love. That sort of slightly post-industrial age period. You never get. It's it's either medieval times or present day, and we sort of sit in this really original place,
like a noir vibe.
Yeah, it's kind of noir, and it's cool. It's just like the show's cool. It's fun.
That's awesome.
I love working on it.
We got to look at some of the creatures we'll see in the teaser. Can you tell me about it? I mean, are they all computerized too? Is any of it practical? How did you guys manage that? What kind of creatures are we going to see?
I got to tell you, well, first of all, our special makeup effects are done by Nick Dudman. And if you don't know the name, you know his work. He is a legend. First of all, he did the Harry Potter movies, so you've seen his work. He did Star Wars Phantom Menace. Didn't write Star Wars Phantom Menace, didn't direct Star Wars Phantom Menace, so you can't blame him for Star Wars Phantom Menace. And he also designed Jack Nicholson's prosthetic in the Batman movie.
Wow.
So
that's a resume right there.
He's got a resume, and he's incredibly talented. He's created these very practical characters. One of the great things about the show is the aesthetic is we try to do everything in camera. There's obviously set extensions, and the wings, the fairy wings, have to be CG'd on occasion, but for the most part, the show is very much practical.
Wow, that's impressive.
It's pretty cool.
How was it working with Amazon?
Fantastic. Really, really great. I joke with them that I should be able to get notes from them within 48 hours because I get everything else from Amazon within 48 hours. But sometimes it takes longer than that. But it's been a blast, actually. They've been wonderful to work with. The funny thing is, one of the execs at Amazon who I work with on the day-to-day is Brian Harvey, and he and I worked together at ABC long ago, so we found ourselves sort of back in bed with each other.
Nice. There you go. There you go. And I mean, the cast kind of speaks for itself.
The cast is incredible.
Orlando Bloom, Cara Delevingne.
Cara and Orlando are incredible. They're incredible together, and the cast is, again, talk about a deep bench. Everyone is like a star, and everyone's a Four Tools player, and it really is great because it's a true ensemble. It is a big, expansive sort of world, and you will meet all these different characters from all these different corners of the universe, and they're just fantastic.
Who are you most looking forward to the fans meeting?
I will tell you, Tamsin Merchant's character, Imogen Spurn Rose, is probably the most unexpected character.
Okay.
When you first meet that character, she is the most unlikable character maybe in television. I'm exaggerating only slightly, but but by the end, I defy you not to love her.
Oh, nice.
And the humanity that Tamsin invested in her over the course of the first season is remarkable, and it's so much fun to watch that evolution.
Those are the best evolutions. It's like Daryl on The Walking Dead. He started as that hardened, unlikable. Now he's a fan favorite. If he dies, we riot.
That's
there you go.
That's the thing. So I really think that character and Tamsin's impression of her, interpretation of her, is just it's a delight. It's a real
awesome,
nice surprise.
Did you're a big DC guy, and Kara was in Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Was there any connection there? Did you kind of watch that, or see anything about that, and then just go, oh, you know what?
Oh no, actually, well, I'll tell you. I just watched Suicide Squad to watch Suicide Squad, but Kara actually was involved in Carnival Row long before Suicide Squad and long before I got involved with Carnival Row. So it's just this fun little coincidence that we both have worked in that side of the street.
Yeah. So speaking of DC, let's talk about some of these TV shows right now. The big crossover coming up is Crisis.
Yeah.
Which really this event was teased by last year's event. I'll just let you kind of fill in the blanks. Where do we kind of launch this one? Like, how does everything that's building up, where does it build to?
Great question. Well, basically, we're going to begin, this is an exclusive, we're going to begin the way Crisis on Infinite Earths, the comic, begins, which is the destruction of various parallel universes. And the goal is for us to adapt key moments from the comic. There's seminal moments. In fact, yesterday, I pitched to the network what the story was going to be, and as part of the pitch, we have a board that DC made up for me, which covers from key issues of Crisis on Infinite Earths, and we're going to do our version of this, we're going to do our version of this, we're going to do our version of this. So
you're just checking boxes, man. This is so cool.
Our goal is, the thing we've been saying is we're going to make a list of 100 cool things that we want to do, and even if we only get to do 50, we're still doing 50 cool things.
Wow.
So it's a real labor of love on everyone's part. We really this needs to be special. This is the holy grail of DC comic book stories, in my opinion. And we cannot screw this up.
I think you guys will do okay.
God, I hope so.
I have faith in the team there.
Thank you.
But do me a favor, don't go walking around telling anybody else that.
I won't. No, you got it. I'm waiting for Warner Brothers publicity to be like, you told them what?
Well, I appreciate that. That's really exciting. Arrow, I think, has been kind of building towards it really heavily.
Yes.
In the fallout, what show do you think will feel it the most?
Oh, that's a great question. That's a really terrific question. I'm tempted to say actually Arrow.
Yeah.
And I may be a little bit biased in giving that answer, but I would say if we're able to do what we have planned, it's some pretty big consequences that come out of Crisis for Arrow.
Oh, interesting.
Which I know it's like we're big things right before we end the show, but
right, well.
It was interesting, because of the nature of Crisis and the nature of a 10-episode order for Arrow, the two projects really became linked to the extent where the build up to Crisis really takes place in Arrow, and then Crisis has to impact the final two episodes of Arrow. So it's all connected. And I think it's going to be connected in a way that's satisfying to people.
Nice.
That's the trick.
That's the hardest part.
That's the hardest part.
Sticking that landing.
Yes.
Woo. And of course, Arrow coming to an end. Congratulations on a tremendous run.
Thank you.
I mean, this show launched this whole CW verse. And rightfully so. It's been so good. Can you talk about how the decision to end it came about?
Yeah, basically, I think it started. I think once you start staring down the barrel of the season 8, those conversations just, quite frankly, start to happen organically. And Steven was at the end of his deal, and it's like, what are we going to do? How long are we going to do this for? And for my money, I felt it was time. And I think Greg felt that way, and I think Steven felt that way. I think we all sort of collectively came to the same conclusion, which is, let's go out on a high note. The people are still talking about the show, which is hard in its 8th season of any show.
Right.
People are still talking about it, and then there becomes like production budgetary things that really gets you into the tall grass, but for me, I felt like, let's end the show when we can still produce the show that we have all come to know and love, and not try to change the show to make it work when it otherwise can't.
Right, I was going to ask, we're on the heels of Game of Thrones just coming to an end, and that was a controversial finale for a lot of people. Some people loved it, some people didn't. And shows like Lost that were around and beloved for so long. And how do you kind of, from a behind the scenes standpoint, make sure you create something that fans who have been around for this many years can be satisfied?
The good news is, unlike Game of Thrones or unlike Lost, we're not burdened with having to answer a question. We're not burdened with who's going to sit on the Iron Throne or what was the island. So we get to do, I think, a much more sort of character-based ending. So at the same time, the complication for us is that we also have Crisis, and I think a lot of the stuff that was always in my head in terms of how to end the show, we're now actually going to end up doing in the crossover instead. So it's like, well, now what does the series finale become? We've got a plan, and I'm really excited about it. And the goal is, to make it satisfying for the fans. But the good news for us is we don't have the challenges that Lost or Game of Thrones.
That's a good point.
Right.
It's a very good point.
We also don't have their ratings, so there's that too. But I feel the pain of Damon and Benioff and Weiss. It's hard.
It's tough to let.
It's a hard thing to do. It's hard to do it in a way that satisfies everyone. I also think because obviously I have been thinking about how does one end a series. I think there's what the initial reaction to something is, and then there's how it stands the test of time. And those two things are not always the same.
Mm-hmm. And now my last question for you before we end this. Yeah. Is this really the end for everybody on the show? Is there any chance we see anybody again?
That's a terrific question, and there's always a chance, especially since this is it's now become this huge universe. We have all these different places we can go and different ways to tell a story. And the thing and I've been saying this for a few years now because it's been a universe for a few years now. Whenever an actor leaves the show, I always say it's not goodbye, it's I'll see you later, because we have all these different avenues available to us between time travel and parallel universes and animated and you name it. We've got all these different avenues,
right.
Which is a nice thing to be able to explore.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait to see how you guys pull it off, and really look forward to Carnival Row and everything you're doing, man. Thank you for stopping by.
Oh, thanks.
And everybody at home, thank you so much for joining us in Comicbook.com studio at San Diego Comic-Con. Stay tuned for more.